Hello, this is Vince Horn
And
Xander Horn, and we're here at the Hornstead, our new house. We just moved into this place less than a month ago, actually, and we want to give you the first tour of the outside of the homestead, or as we're calling it,
Hornstead.
The Hornstead. So we'll begin our tour of the backyard. Okay, so here we are looking from the back of the house, and we're sitting on a total of about 3/4 of an acre. So our property line is where I'm standing here, and then it extends over about 4 feet to the left of that shed, back to the forest line, and then extends over here past Xander and to the road. And so the rest of the property here in front of and behind the house is all part of the Hornstead. So we'll begin just showing you a little round, and I'll talk a little bit about some of our long-term plans, like what we're planning on doing in this space. So you're really seeing it completely before it's been worked on, before we've done any kind of growing or building or working. So here we have our garden shed, and in this big space that you see kind of in front of the garden, we're planning on this year we're planning on getting some of this graded a little bit, flattened out, and then we're going to install a garden bed and our FarmBot, our Genesis XL FarmBot. It's an open source CNC farming machine. So that's our plan this year, to get that up and running. And next year in 2022, we'll have plenty of other things to do. So around the Hornstead here, you can see we've got a nice little back porch. We've got plenty of space here to plant trees and perennials and really anything we need to. We planned really on having kind of chickens eventually, long term, next to the shed and to the side of the house, which I'll show you in a bit. Maybe 2023, Xander says. Yeah, so we've got space over here, some trees. We've got this nice enclosed porch. There's some wild mint already growing.
That I had some in my salad yesterday.
Yeah, Xander picked some of that, had it in his salad. Got a big deck. Probably long term, this is an older deck. We'll eventually look to demolish it and build something smaller. And let's see, the property line extends all the way down to the road here. We've got some neighbors across the way. And then we're coming out to the front porch. You can see the side of the house here and driveway. We've got a nice little area here in the front. And long term, what we're looking at over here, this is an important area for gardening, because this area we're hoping over here to build several raised beds and to have kind of a big space, maybe 20 by 20 feet or so, with about 9 raised beds. This is a really nice flattish area that gets extremely good sun. If we're looking this way, this is north, directly behind us is south. So this is going west to east here. We get really good sun coming over the horizon here, and really all day. This area is getting nice sun. One thing we'll have to figure out is we've got an old septic system here, which we didn't realize when we bought the house. It was undisclosed. So we've got to figure out, the septic system is actually under here. We've got to figure out how that's doing first, and it's possible our plans will change if there's anything we need to do work-wise there. What's really interesting about this space, so the boundary of our boundary line is right here, so up against these plants, that's the end of our property line. Now if you go beyond this space, there's actually state property that is open and maintained by one of our neighbors, and there's a nice little creek down there and like some space to go walk. So quite nice.
Maybe in one of our videos we'll show you.
Yeah, we could show you all sometime. So looking here, you see the shed from another angle. This is the one of the side yards, and this is kind of a space where we imagined having some chickens eventually. The property line again goes all the way to the boundary line here in the forest. So just goes straight up through here. And we started already a little wood pile, starting to grab some of the down tree limbs and things like that, which will, all of this will eventually go back into our raised beds, the bottom of the raised beds. But for now, we're just piling up some of that. And we can imagine long term here being able to do some water capture as well. So this is a good space where we could have potentially some larger water capture barrels. Yeah, and long term, that's kind of what we're thinking, having a couple garden areas, a raised bed garden down in the front, several raised beds, and then having a couple, one or two large farm bots here, and eventually, potentially even a hoop house that goes over them so that we can extend the growing season. So yeah, we've got lots of space to work with, good 3/4 of an acre. It's all pretty wide open and relatively flat. So our focus, our aim really is going to be on how can we most efficiently use this space, because there is plenty of it for our purposes. And then of course, we've also got plans of doing solar power on the roof on the other side to offset our power consumption. And you know, like, these are the long-term goals. Give us 5 or 10 years to get all the systems running here at the Hornstead. But grateful that you've joined us for this whole time. There's power actually running to this, which is nice, because that means we can run power probably to our farm bots. Xander, is there anything else you want to say before we wrap up? Okay, we're good to go then.
We're gonna have maybe like a video every 2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll do some regular videos here, share with you what we're doing on the Hornstead, and what else. Anytime we do a new big project, we'll share a video about that. Yeah. So anyway, thanks for joining us.